Welcome to selfdiscoverymedia.com, where we discover the communities that are making a difference in the lives of others. Our self-discovery is something we are all making on our life's journey. Here you will find the people that will be your guidance, that will be your inspiration, that will be there for you in support on your journey of life. Do enjoy. Our next show is... Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Sarah's View of Life right here on selfdiscoverymedia.com. I am Sarah Troy. To mask or not to mask? Is it a conspiracy theory? Is it reasonable to ask people to wear a mask? Does it protect ourselves? Well, this is the question, isn't it? And a lot of controversy is out there because of it. So, this is one of my masks. I have one that sits on the chin that's also plastic that comes up above. I have another one that goes around the headband. This one has proven to be the best. It's just like wearing glasses. It's up high here, high there, low there, round here, you see, and pretty protective. I don't think I need it for the show, though. So I'm asking you a question. If you think this is a government conspiracy, and the government wants you to wear the masks, I'm going to ask you the question is, how do they do surveillance? Because they've got cameras everywhere, especially throughout America. Everywhere, on every corner. And they like to recognize faces. And those faces will pick up if they've been troubleshooting terrorists, this, that, etc. The last thing the government wants in the surveillance department is for you to be wearing a mask. Because now they don't know who you are. They've just got your eyes, and very often you're wearing a hoodie, and they can't gauge from the eyes. Not yet. I guess it will come. So why would the government want you to wear a mask? What kind of conspiracy is it? What's the backing behind that? Could it be that actually COVID is transferable in close proximity with people with a fever or sneezing or coughing? And the reason for a mask is to protect yourself and to protect others around you. Now, if the government is asking us to do that, I don't know what the problem is. Now, if you're driving your own car, you don't need to wear a mask. I see people wearing masks in their car alone. I don't get that. If you're out in the fresh air, jogging, biking, taking a nice walk, and you're keeping your distance from people, yes, you need the air in your lungs. But if you're in a shopping center, grocery store, anywhere where there is a dense population of people, you need to wear a mask. Why? Well, we know that a sneeze goes faster than a cheetah. We know that these droplets can reach people at quite a big distance. We also know that the common cold can so easily be passed from one to the other. And as we go into the autumn and cold season starts and then flu season, are we going to be able to recognize what's the flu, what's a cold, what's influenza, and what's COVID-19? So prevention is always the best cure. If we prevent it and keep our immune system strong, then we should protect ourselves. You see, to mask or not to mask, conspiracy or sensibility, I'd rather go on the side of caution. Now, I'm an asthmatic, and as an asthmatic, I actually am legally exempt from having to wear one of these cloth masks because we find it very hard to breathe behind those, and it can cause some respiratory problems. But a mask like I just showed you, or the other plastic one which allows air to go through and you don't feel you're being suffocated, I can wear. So when I'm out in public, in order to protect myself and others, I will wear the mask. If I'm just walking down the street, if I'm going to a restaurant, I'm going to eat, I generally don't wear a mask. They're all wearing masks. They've sanitized everything. I'm with people I know anyway, and I'm going to eat, right? I don't know what happened to common sense. I mean, I did Common Sense show quite a few shows ago, the beginning of COVID. And the common sense is that we still really don't know the full dynamics of this COVID, this coronavirus. Who cares where it came from? who transported it. The whole point, it's here. There isn't a vaccine for it, and it's going to be a couple of years before it runs its course. There was a statistic the other day where they said only 4% of Americans have died of COVID. What's the big deal? To the families that have lost people to COVID, it's a big deal. To the people that got COVID, that were on the respiratory life support things, that lungs are compromised now, or the whole health is compromised now. They've recovered, but what kind of life are they going to have? It's a big deal. They don't want to be treated as a statistic. I'm sorry, I've watched Donald Trump and Pence the other day at the Republican convention saying that America had the least cases and Donald Trump had done the best job in the world. And that's an outright lie. We know that there's an awful lot of people not being tested because they've got to pay for it. We also know there's a lot of people who can't afford the treatment. And they can't afford to take time off and isolate. How are they going to pay their rent? How are they going to have food because the government's not looking after them? So it's rampant in America. In fact, actually in America, there are more cases in America than there have been in the whole world combined. And you may not believe me, but then please go and look at the facts. Go and look at the facts, not the CNN or the Fox News facts, right? But the facts. We also know that not all of the cases are in America, that an awful lot of people have not been tested. It used to be, oh, the youth won't get it. A 17-year-old in Montreal died of it the other day. Healthy young man, got it, attacked his lungs on a respirator and died. It's not just for the elderly, and you think, oh, this is a way of getting rid of the elderly. We don't need them anymore. Who cares if they paved the way for you, if they invented the cell phone or the computer? Who cares if they fought wars for you? Who cares if everything that you have today is because of the ground that they laid? They can go now, right? That's what many of the youth think. And some of the politicians who say, our seniors are willing to die for us. Codswallop. We may be seniors, but we've still got a lot of life in us and we want to live it. We've earned it. Then it was the young people can't get it. Now young people are dying from it. Now they're thinking under 10 is pretty immune to it. But how long before we see a kid under 10 get it? Now, it's not always compromised immune systems. The cases have been a lot of very healthy people getting it and really suffering from it. We are seeing, obviously, more people recover than die. But we have to understand it's called a pandemic for a reason. If you have the flu, you take the flu shot. The flu is with you for a while. If you don't take care of yourself, it can go to pneumonia. Around 46,000 people a year die from pneumonia, right? But how many people have died from COVID right now? I believe it's 175,000 or something in that region in America alone. India is in trouble. Not much support there. Brazil decided it was a non-existent. Spain has been hit really hard with it. England. And I know there's another country that's really having a hard time with it. And Australia, who was virtually clear, it's come right back up again. So this hasn't gone. It's not going to go anytime soon. We're going to go into flu season, and it's going to be a confusing and a rough one. But here's the good thing. Whereas in the past, if you had a cold, you had to just take NyQuil or something to suck it up, and it didn't matter how thick your head was or how shivery and shaky you had to go to work. Being sick wasn't an excuse. Now you have the shivers, the sneezes, the cough, the splutters. Nobody wants you anywhere near. Stay at home and get well. And we may see less flu cases, less pneumonia cases, because people are staying home, getting better quicker, and coming back to work healed, instead of working through it and getting worse and, of course, spreading it everywhere. So there are some good hindsights there that, oh, no, we're not going to see so much of that. What I don't understand when people refuse to wear a mask. like this Confederate guy, cap on, gun, rifle in his hand, wearing a scarf over his face to mask who he was and saying, "I won't wear a mask." What's that, mate? Nobody's asking you to wear the surgical mask. If you put a scarf over your face, that's fine. You're wearing a mask that you're protesting wearing mask. Do you have any respect? Ask yourself that. Ask your mirror that. Do you have respect for yourself? Would you like to protect yourself from whatever's out there, especially when it's migrating and it's changing and it's going into something else? Do you want to protect yourself from that? Yes? Good. Washing hands, wearing a mask, distancing, and if you're not feeling well, stay at home. Is that such a big deal? Do you have respect for anyone that you're in contact with? The people that are working at the grocery stores, working so hard for you, the people on the buses, the garbage man, maybe your dentist or your doctor or anybody else that you come into contact with, that dress or that pantsuit you went to go and buy, your friends. Do you care for them? Do you care what happens to them? Then just simply put on a mask. You can take it off when you're out of the store. You can take it off when you're in your car. You can take it off when you're walking in fresh air away from the density of the people. You don't have to wear it at home. We're just asking you to be considerate. Consider it. This is not a government conspiracy. In America, Trump wasn't wearing a mask until it got to a point that there were so many people dying, all of a sudden he's the mask wearer. I think we've got to a stage in life where we've got to stop buying the lies. We've got to stop buying the hysteria. There's this QAnon right now. I can't find the words to describe it, but it's something that was started online. And I believe, let me see if I can find what it was called. I'm going to look here. What is it called? Nope, I haven't got it here. Sorry, folks. QAnon. It is something that was started on the internet and it spread like wildfire. And when you see Trump followers wearing a big Q, like with the flag, and they're saying that Hillary Clinton, Obama, and Tom Hanks are killing babies to suck the blood from them. And then there's other kind of conspiracies going around there, and people are believing it. Now, please, folks, use the noggin. Use the noggin. If you're going to believe everything that somebody puts out in hysteria, you're going to be tied up into a tiny weeny pretzel. Do your own research. Deduce whether you think something is real or not. Stop buying into the hysteria. It leads to hate. It leads to segregation. It leads to disconnect. Most certainly breeds ignorance. And somebody out there is having a damn good laugh at you because you're so gullible. They can dish anything out to you and you'll soak it up. Are you one of those people? It's time to have a really good look at yourself in the mirror and go, am I going to believe everything and anything that comes across the table willy-nilly, or am I going to fact check it? Am I going to believe every single word that comes out of Republicans' mouths without fact checking it? And I don't mean Democrats fact checking it. Fact checking it as a fact. There is a site that's nonpartisan that checks facts. And they're updating it all the time. So there was a Doctor Who show one day, one that always stands out in my mind with David Tennant. Can't remember the name of the actress, but she's quite a popular British actress. And, Doctor Who has a TARDIS and he's a Time Lord. And he's on holiday, and he's in this train that's going along to this crystal mountain. And they come to a stop, and the drivers are killed. And whatever this entity is outside kind of takes over this woman. And she's learning. So first she's copying everything that David Tennant, Doctor Who, is saying. Then she's paralleling with him. And then she's overtaking him. Brilliant piece of acting, the way they're going back and forth, the timing and everything of it. But the hysteria that ended up in that cabin with the people is they were prepared to sacrifice anyone, just out of fear. And the moral of that story is fear, when stirred up, when churned up, without stepping back and looking at the facts and deducing and just using the common sense, those fears will cripple you, and they'll have you doing things that you never thought you would ever do in your life. So before you buy everything that's dished out, maybe it's a good time to kind of question things and go, I need to analyze this. I need to step back and wonder whether this is true or not. Because you don't believe in UFOs, but you believe Tom Hanks is sucking babies to death. Really? It's beyond laughable. It truly is. What have we come to? You know, I've said all along the line that the universe is here to shake us up, to wake us up, to step up and change it up. And I think we're still being woken up. And a lot of people are still being shaken up because they're taking their time to wake up. And we seem to most definitely have a very fine line in dividing us in absolutes. One cannot speak common sense to someone who is unwilling to hear it. That is so completely and utterly set in the hysteria, in the lies, in the momentum that is happening out there. What can you do? It doesn't matter how intelligent somebody puts forth their case. Somebody that is so willing to believe Thomas Hanks is sucking baby's blood to stay and longevity is life, and all the other conspiracy things that are going on, because there's more stuff of that, it's just ridiculous. If you're willing to believe that without using your own intellect, then it doesn't matter what is said to you. It doesn't matter. All the proof in the world could be given to you that it's not a fact, and you would still choose to believe it. And that's sad. It's very, very, very sad. Why do we so blindly choose to believe that that could be true? Why? This is a reflection of society being sheeple, barring along, following whatever next hysteria is thrown out to them. But it's also an abstinence of taking any responsibility for your own life, for your own emotions, for your own care, for your own sanity. You see, every single one of us is here to find our meaningful purpose. We're here to take care of ourselves, to be as abundant as we can be. And I'm not talking bank account, I'm talking health, spiritual health, wellness health, mind health. Because when we are in that abundance, we now pour that over to other people and help them on their journey of life. That's true enrichment. That's really where the nugget is. But you can't do that if you're not willing to take accountability, responsibility for your own actions, for your own choices, for things that you really should know better, but you chose not to. And we seem to have an awful lot of people out there right now that are unwilling to take responsibility. You know, it's the finger pointing, 3 pointing back at you. No, they'd ignore that. It's your fault. It's their fault. It's her fault. It's this fault. It's that fault. And it's all there. Now, smoke and mirrors to blind you of what really is going on, what really the facts are. Now, I know it's so easy. You know, you take what we call the picket fence tale. Marjorie says to Joan, oh, did Did you know that? And Joan goes and shares it with Gillian, and Gillian shares it with someone else. And by the end of the tale, this tiny little pimple is a volcanic eruption. That's the CNN news for you too. Blowing it out of proportion. It has destroyed so many lives by these tales being blown out of proportion and people choosing to believe it. So many lives. Gossip that brings harm to other people is bad. I'm absolutely outright honest with you here that I do not like Donald Trump or the Republican Party. I think they're cowards. I think they're backwards in their thinking. I think that they have absolutely no respect for life, planetary life, animal life, human life. And I think that they are only there to protect what they've got, and they don't care as entitled people who suffers for it. And I have zero respect for any single one of them. That's me. I'm telling you straight. That's right up front. Biden, I wish it wasn't Biden, but I'm glad that he has a vice president that's still young. She'll hold him accountable, and he will teach her the experience that he has, because he's been in the White House for 8 years anyway as a vice president. So there's a better equilibrium there. We've got to get back to some clarity, got to get back to some equilibrium. Now, I'm Canadian. Why do I care so much what happens with America? You're brothers and sisters over there. I know you look at us as the second-rate cousins, but you're brother and sister. So what happens in your country will have a trickle-down effect with us. And I don't like to see so many of my friends and colleagues and Americans suffering the way they are. Look quite simply at the Black Lives Matter. For me, I always say it's Black Rights Matter, because all lives should matter. But Black rights, there aren't any. You're Black, you're guilty. Case in point, the young white man with that big AK, whatever he was, where he just shot someone, put his hands up in the air and walked right past the police as the police went running in to defuse the situation and let the killer go. They eventually caught him because somebody pointed out it was him, but they were willing to walk past the guy because he's white with an AK. Yet they'll shoot a Black man trying to get back into the car with his children after he was breaking up a domestic violent fight between two couples, and they'll shoot him in the back 7 times. 7 times. Not taser him, not try and bring him down and talk to him. 7 times in the back, like cowards. And the white man just walked by with a gun. What does that say about that society? What does it say about the country of liberty and freedom? Liberty and freedom if you're rich and white. If you're poor and white and poor in any other color, forget it. If you're Black, and it doesn't even affect the brown people so much, there's different racism there, but if you're Black, you're guilty for being Black, for being alive. And the police, they put that uniform on and that badge on, and they forget that they are working for the public. They're working for the people to protect the people, and they have become the biggest enemy of the people. Your voting boxes, your postmaster, did anybody see that? He's the head of the postmaster. They've taken away all the boxes, and where they do the letter sorting, because Trump doesn't want anybody to mail in their votes. And the guy's been, he's been cross-examined. You know, how much is the stamp? Doesn't know. Doesn't know a thing about the post office. Not a thing. Look at Ben Carson, brain surgeon, who I think needed to do a bit of surgery on himself, is in charge of urban development. Doesn't know zilch about it. That woman they put in as head of education, she didn't pass the questioning at all. You have to laugh, because if you don't, you're going to go crazy. Because it's so ludicrous. Now, I normally do not rant and rave on these shows. You listen back to all of my other shows, I'll take a problem, an observation, and I'm always looking to the solution in it. But I have to say this is pent up in me because I cannot believe the ridiculousness of it. I cannot believe how ludicrous, how outright stupid, and how irresponsible of what's going on in America. Now, I know other countries are having problems. And I know our country has certainly got problems. There's racist problems here. And it stretches from our Black people, brown people, Chinese people, and indigenous people. We have issues here. We have alternative health practitioners being killed in the States. And here in Canada, we've got problems. But you see, the amount of people that we have in Canada would fit into your California. And we're a bigger country than you, only by a few miles, but we are. So when you look at the amount of people you've got in America and how divided you all are, please do not call it the United States of America. It's the divided states of America. People, I had somebody on, Christian, saying he's converting Democrats over to Republicans. And I asked him why he'd vote for Trump. And he goes, based on three things, the moral and the two parts of the Constitution. I said, surely you can't be voting on the moral. He coughed a bit and said, well, no, but the Constitution. And if you really looked at the Constitution, he's torn that to pieces as well. An intelligent man comes from the heart and the passion, yet is willing to overlook what is being done. I don't understand why. I'm sorry, I don't. I don't understand why. The documented lies from Trump himself are in the thousands. The cases against him, when he's no longer president, he will be arrested. The immorality from him. What he's doing to America, allowing hunting again, wanted to take away the sacred lands and do mining. Everything is for money. Everything is for profit. It's not in there to be a proud country. It's not there to support the people. It's not there to support that liberty, that freedom, that free speech, that come one and come all. America is now hated around the world because of him. You had a wonderful relationship with the rest of the world. Now look at it. Do you really want that to be another 4 years? Can America survive another 4 years? You will see a civil war if he's voted it. Now, I apologize. This is not my kind of show. Started off about mass and common sense. As I said, it's been building up inside of me. I cannot watch anything. The only thing I watch is Trevor Noah, who does a comedic bit on it, because if you can't make a comedy out of it, you're too exasperated, too frustrated, too astonished to believe anything else. So that's just the way it is. So I pray that everybody gets out and votes. And although I said not the best candidates, but better than, and a chance at making changes. The Democrats, it's a pity you don't have a third party, but you know, like in Russia, they poison them, anybody who's opposition. What a world we're in, huh? We have this gift of this planet that is so extraordinary. You look at the wonderful complexities, the matrix of the trees, the currents of the waters, and the ability of the winds, everything that grows, and all the life forms, and the exquisiteness of how they are. You look at all of that, and you think what this planet gives to us. It provides for us, it shelters us, it protects us. And look what we do to it. Look what we do to each other. Look what we do to our animal kingdom. And it's all done in the name of profit, ego, or hate. Where is the love? I prefer to see the love. We've got to raise our vibration. And it starts with each and every one of us. We've got to do it for ourselves. We have to raise our vibration. As I said, I don't normally do shows like this. And I had to get it off my chest. I'm sorry. I'm always looking to the hope, but I'm looking to it now. I don't know how we're going to change the minds of the people who will believe in such stupidity. I don't know how we're going to talk any common sense into them, because they buy everything that he's saying as real. All I can say is to you who are opposed to him, that you raise your vibration in caring, kindness, and love, and that you become that beautiful instrument that helps others rise above it, and that you guys collectively together bring that energy together so that it may throw off balance this other energy, because this energy is downright evil. I have some wonderful shows for you this week. Some really cool people. And obviously I've got some incredible shows for you, and I line up, 2,500 shows here collectively. And I'm going to be doing some more. I've just been away and had a wonderful holiday with my children. Short and sweet, but just wonderful. I was living in a place with somebody else's furniture, and I brought my own furniture over. It was exhausting. So yes, if ever you are used to seeing me with a different backdrop, I have a different backdrop now. And still in the works, still kind of doing some things, but settling down with my own stuff around me. And kind of back to work and back to sorting things out and back to growing and back to seeing where we go next. But lots and lots of wonderful shows still to come to you. Why do I bring them to you? I bring them because of people who have gone through their redirects, their cosmic 2x4s, their, sorry, dog downstairs barks at everything. Of people that are willing to step up and help others, because they've been through the process and they know what it's like, and they're there to help others now. So all sorts of wonderful knowledge, just, the orchard of wisdom ready for clicking. It's just magnitude of enrichment of knowledge for you. So I invite you to come to selfdiscoverymedia.com/shows, and you will see all the genres in there. And if you go to what's new, that's literally every show in sequence, along with some of the blogs. And selfdiscoverycommunity.org has finally come up. There was a lot of issues with somebody doing my blog. Now I realize there's an awful lot of links that aren't working. So I've got to get in there and do them. And I will do in and around my work. So I promise you, bit by bit. If you find a link not working, please let me know, all right? Let me know in the comments. Let me know in an email, info@selfdiscoverymedia.com, because I'm going to address it. But it's time. And lots to do. So next week, I promise I will have a more uplifting show for you, okay? And something more positive. But I'm sorry, it just had to be said. I just cannot believe the idiocracy of what is going on, the lack of common sense, the lack of thinking, the lack of consideration. Somebody pointed out that this amount of numbers, that amount of numbers, it mounted up to, and this was a few weeks ago, so it's been much higher now, only 4% of Americans have died from COVID. What's the big deal? Tell that to the 4% families that have been left behind, that have lost husbands and wives, mothers and fathers, brothers and sisters, uncles and aunts, best friends. My landlady has lost 6 friends and colleagues, plus a brother who died of a heart attack. My cousin-in-law became down really sick with it, 3 weeks on the respirator. And it's going to take him the rest of the year to get any form of his health back up. It's a rough one, folks. And if you don't have a respect for this pandemic, it doesn't give a damn about you. It doesn't care who you are. If it thinks you're vulnerable, it's going to attach itself to you. I'm sorry, I did make a bad joke though, that COVID won't go anywhere near Trump. It draws the line there. It's real. You look into the history of pandemics and the millions that it killed. We are up to 8 million people in the world who've had it, and that's conservative. And we're leaning up to 1 million, I think, killed. And America has more deaths and more cases than the other countries. Know your facts. Don't just carte blanche believe in everything, all right? And laugh at all these stupid things, because if you don't, you will go crazy. But if you know somebody that's kind of bought into this, if you know somebody that thinks this is all real, I think it's time to sit down and say, okay, why is it real? Where was the source of the information? Where did that information come from? Where are the facts behind it? Because, what was it? Trudeau. Trudeau has an ankle bracelet on, which is our president of Canada, by the way. And because he's a child molester and they don't want him to go anywhere. If he was a child molester under investigation, he would not be the Prime Minister of Canada. But somebody puts it out there and goes, oh, see, it's true. It's true. The news said so. The internet said so. Do you question it? Do you think for yourself that this could be just propaganda? Do you? Because you should. It's laughable, but it's also despairing. Totally despairing. Anyway, good news next week. I promise I'll have a more enlightened show. As I said, I've got some beautiful shows past and present and to come to you, and a lot more coming. I'm hoping that this year I'm going to get together the Forgotten Children series book, and I've just got to get back into the groove, right? I've been moving and still got so many things to unpack and lots to run, and I've got to stop watching the news. I do wish all of you well. I wish all of you love and caringness and kindness and laughter and joy and love. When we do get exasperated like this, we need to go and watch something that reminds us of how beautiful life is, how beautiful our own lives are, and just realize that we can do it. And not to buy into all of this ridiculousness, and respect. What is it for you to wear a mask in public around other people to protect yourself and to protect them? Because you don't know you're a carrier until the symptoms show, and you could have been giving it to other people before it showed. Just simple respect, folks. The government doesn't want you to wear a mask because they can't see you on camera now. But they're saying wear a mask because it saves lives. Your choice, your conscience, your responsibility. So, on a good note, my pussycat and my doggy from the past say goodbye. I have them no longer with us, but they're always with me in my heart. And don't forget, wear your mask, okay? Who knows? We can make it a fashion statement, and you're protecting yourself and other people. All right? So until next time, folks, bye for now. We hope you enjoyed the show. We look forward to bringing you more shows. Please go to selfdiscoverymedia.com/shows, and you will see the incredible lineup of genres and shows that we have for you. We are here to make a difference in your life. Thank you for listening.